if you're someone who puts out a lot of creative,
Yeah.
I do think it sucks, and it's also awesome that you get confronted with the question all the time of like, oh shit, do I suck? Because like 80% of what you put out is not going to perform.
I thought that's a day.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like 80% of what you put out is probably not going to perform the way that you want it to.
Yeah.
And so then you go, why? It sucks, but I think it's actually like some of the most important questions to ask yourself to like actually grow, which is why I do think like the people who do take action are the people who disproportionately do so much better, not only because they have the consistency that you're talking about, but because they have so many more life cycles of putting something out. You just learn something from making that in the first place. So you're taking that information in, then you put it out, then you learn how people responded to that positively or negatively. And so you're getting like multiple learning cycles just by doing like one thing.
Yeah.
And then over and over and over if you're super consistent. And that's just like how the snowball goes. But I think like there can be a very perfectionistic tendency to keep wanting to make it perfect before putting it out. But putting it out is going to make you a million times better, a million times quicker.
Oh, well, you have to suck ass before you don't. Like
exactly
in everything. Like, there's so many. Anytime I do a new adventure, like I'm gonna suck ass until I don't. Like I've accepted that.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. You know, part of it has a charm, and sometimes you do some of the best things ever when you're in that moment in your life of like a new thing where you're sucking ass and just like figuring it out. You know, you're just like, damn man. Like you look back sometimes, you're like, I knew no idea what I was doing, and I accidentally did something awesome because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's like. It's such a special spot that I guess more people just embraced of like, just again, taking that time and not being so discouraged of failing it. Because you only fail I really do think that you only fail if you quit doing it and you didn't learn anything from it. If you learned something from it, it's not, you learned. It was a learning thing. Like that's amazing. That's more than what 90% of people that try to do that thing can take away from that. So like, embracing that is so important, especially in a field that's the entertainment industry that is so unforgiving. Oh my God. In every way, creative and the creative content side, the social media side, the music side. Oh my God, it is. You will not get a pat on the back unless you are literally doing the best possible thing possible. So like you got to get used to, you know, tapping your own hand and being like, all right, bro, I didn't fail this one, you know, and just be happy with that.
100%. Yeah. You either win or you learn. That's like kind of how I think about it and how I embrace failure, because again, I do think like you'll fail most of the time.
Yeah.
You only need to connect 20%. Like even if you look at all-time great albums, like typically if a single album can have 3 songs that did insane, that is a huge success. And that's normally 3 out of 12 to 13 songs. Like pretty low ratio or percentage, you know what I mean? And yeah, I feel like so much of the time the expectations, like it all has to do like amazing.
Yeah, well, especially if you have, again, that drive, that ambition, it's almost counterintuitive to like be really ambitious and want to achieve something like really great. You know, you always want to aim for the top when you have that mentality. And that's something where when you don't reach there, it can be discouraging, even if you reach like the level right under it. And that's something where I start to learn as I get older. I would be like, oh, I kind of get how this works. So I'm going to I'm going to aim for the dumbest thing possible that I know is not possible. I'm going to pretend it is, because then I'm going to achieve maybe the thing that I was kind of aiming for. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to achieve right under. So I would 100%, or I'd be like, I'm going to do this, and I'm just the magic man. You know, this takes 1 hour. You start to do the math. You physically cannot do this in 24 hours. And I'd be like, okay. But I'm going to aim to do it. And then because of that, I get more done than I wouldn't have. Again, though, balance. And that's where, you know, part of my brain loves to do that. But then it's also like, you got to check yourself a bit, because if you go too far and you really, really do that too far, you're just like, then you're just a dumbass, you know? And that's what's happened like a lot. And that's why it's like very chill and like somewhat therapeutic to talk to myself and talk through that sometimes with people, because it's just like, you just got to figure shit out, man, when you're going through everything. Like you got to figure it out. There's no one's going to give you the magical answer. No numbers are going to even sometimes give you the magical answer. It's really just like, what do you feel? Does it make you happy? Do you enjoy it? And just be smart as you can, because everyone's going to tell you this, this, and this, and this, and it's just like no one's going to care about what you do more than you do, and that's what it comes down to.
100%. The people who are the most successful are like obviously very talented and good at what they do.
Yeah,
of course, but you have to be like delusionally optimistic.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I'm delusional all the time.
Yeah, which is all, like I think the people who make the most progress are the people who are kind of out of their mind. You know, like
we're all psychopaths.
Yeah,
100%. Like the ideas I sometimes tell my wife too. I'm like, can we try to do this? Like, and like she's so supportive and so funny. She'll just look at me and be like, okay,
yeah,
you know, just be like, I'm around. I'm down for the journey. You know what? Sure, because I know you're crazy. You know, like I know you're gonna figure. You know, you're gonna do whatever. But like that's part of the fun is like being, delusional and kind of just going for it, but doing it. You know, and seeing how far you can achieve the crazy thing you want to kind of fulfill. You know, because you might be like, oh my god, I did it. Well, one of the things for me was the award show. Psycho idea.
It's crazy, man. I can't. Those are such insane productions. I can't believe it.
I can't either when I'm because it's not me. Like I'm part of it and I get the team and there's all the admin and setup and I work with a lot of people. But even when like I'm not the production team, right? Like I'm the team of I'm like the general manager getting it all sorted. You know what I mean? And even with that, it's like even when I see the production work and I'm like, yo, you guys are fucking crazy. Like I'm like a fan. I'm like, how are you guys doing this? Like this is way too cool for like what we're trying to. Like you guys are doing like they're doing like what's that crane camera? I completely forgot. That they had like a crane camera and shit like that. I'm just sitting there because like we talk and we pitch these ideas because we speak like a long we it's a lot of effort to get that show to happen, and they pitch ideas and crazy stuff and I'm just like, yeah, that sounds insane, let's go.
Yeah,
like can you pull it off? And they're like, maybe. I'm like, good enough for me, bro. You know, like that's again, it's that delusional, just like figure it out. And it's cool when you see it kind of everything come together, because before everything comes together in any capacity, content, music, it's all a shit show most of the time. It's usually figuring it out. No one knows what's happening. Or you get like the lightning in the bottle and you're just like, oh, this is magic from like the first second. Okay, well, I guess it's done. And like, we did it, right? Yeah. There's like no in between. There's no like kind of like, oh yeah, it's like kind of a nice smooth ride. It's either like chaos or like, oh, like we got it right away.
Well, and it kind of keeps you loose too, because you're not so like rigid to the structure of here's how it's supposed to go. You're kind of just like, oh, see, it's
Dude,
you know.
I was the worst, and I'm a terrible YouTuber. When it comes to anything like, if I have to do anything like scripted based in any, always the worst. I would stumble my words. I would forget everything. I would fail. I would have to film it a million times for like 3 hours, like 10 seconds or something. And funny enough, streaming really helped me because I realized because it's just you're live streaming. There is no like figure it out. So I got lucky somewhat earlier in my career. Like I started to do that and it made me so loosened that like I much prefer off the cuff, like figure it out. Like I as professional as I can be with things. But at the same time, it's like I don't over prepare because I know if I do that, I'm going to literally make it worse.
Yeah. The thing that's tricky about like the delusional optimism is I think there's like this lonely period in your life where you are delusionally optimistic for a really long period of time with no evidence that you can actually pull anything off.
Yeah.
And so I think for probably a lot of people, you have friends and family being like, you maybe shouldn't be trying to do the thing that you're going for, right? Yeah, that's probably just going to be a 10-year period of time before you like connect. But then once you do and you actually have like that thing comes to fruition, then it reinforces this cycle of like, okay, I am someone who can like have a crazy vision and it comes to life in some way, shape or form. And like, I feel like that the second time around is much shorter. The third time around is much shorter to where, now you can look at your wife and be like, hey, I've got this batshit crazy idea. And she's just like, yeah, okay, cool.
All
because
of them. Yes.
because you've already you're now at a point in your life where you've had so many crazy ideas where your hit rate of actually pulling them off is somewhat high. So people are just like, hell yeah, Nick's got something crazy again. So
yeah, my KDA is low, but my hit rate's high with abs. So like, dude, I think it's important to just go for it. And it's like you said, you don't get the like, when you're like that, you don't really get the satisfaction of like the achievement of it sometimes because you are so delusional and then you're always on to like, what's the next, like you kind of keep going that only in my career, like I would only notice if something actually worked like a year down the line or two. Like, yeah, for me, because like even though I'm very self-reflective with how I am and how I just I would treat myself and others around, and like just I try to, you know, be like a normal, cool, chill dude, you know, because that's like right, and like check, like I said, take care of myself and all this shit. Yeah, and make sure like content stuff like is executed well and done all the stuff. A lot of times, it's like it'll take a while for me to look back, and it's not like when I do it, I feel like it's not good. It's just I feel like, oh, we did it, you know, that's cool. Like I am in content, you know, but in terms of it getting that full gratification, I guess it usually happens way later with me. Where like even some of the award shows sometimes like it's such an event where like I won't get that gratification of like, oh, that was sick, you know, like that moment of like, hell yeah, bro. Like until like I'm working on the you know, maybe next year's one. And I look back and I'm like, oh wow, we did like a pretty good job on that, or like an album or something, you know, Terminal or shit. Like funny, I had like we had an album of Terminal with Andy, and then we look back on you know, we didn't text much, and then recently I know he was like, dude, oh Christmas, I listened to that record, it's sick, and I was like, dude, I just listened to that record, like we kind of did some cool shit, bro, you know, like, and it's like. It's very weird because it's such a delayed gratification, and I don't know if that's even normal, if that's, you know, it's just like, but like I very much relate to that because it's something you have to get used to not, you know, fully getting that until maybe like a bit of time.
Yeah, I think I relate to it certainly, where because I think if you pull something off, whether that's releasing an album or whatever, it's more of just like I can now just like maybe take a deep breath, but also not really a deep breath because now I need to see how it does.
Yeah, you should
and then so it's like it is only in retrospect where you kind of just like are away from the stress of it, away from the performance of it, where you can maybe like go back and be like, oh shit, yeah, that was actually that was dope. I'm impressed with what we did, you know?